good. All right, welcome back to another episode of Fastbreak Layup NBA podcast. Your boy Samuel here. We got Rico. Rico, say what's up.
Yeah, what's good, y'all?
We got Frankie. Say what's up. He off camera. We got our guest, our friend Jaleel. Say what's up.
Yo, what up to the peoples? What up from the 212? Allah.
And make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching it there, or subscribe or follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen, because we're basically everywhere now. Doesn't hurt to leave us a rating, leave a comment, and follow us on Twitter at FBLNBAPod and Instagram at FBL_NBA Pod. All right, let's get into it. We got some NBA news. So the NBA, they're starting to open up their facilities for practice wherever their states are opening up they're loosening their stay-at-home orders. So we had the Cavs, they went back to practice, and Kevin Love said it felt a little weird, but it was uplifting at the same time to get some shots up and stuff like that. So we got that. And then we got I think they discussed on a conference call. Adam Silver had a conference call with the NBA players talking about how he still wants the NBA to come back, and Orlando and Vegas are being discussed as the two main options for the East and the West. There's no fans when they return, as we all know. With the whole pandemic, there won't be fans for a while, actually, but that sucks because 40% of the league revenue comes from the fans. So we're looking at that salary cap in the next 2-3 years decreasing, not exponentially, but decreasing to a certain extent. And players who signed those contracts this past year, like those extensions and stuff, those rookie extensions, they are not going to get as much as they wanted, as they were promised, probably. So guys like Ben Simmons and Pascal Siakam.
It wasn't looking too good for Ben Simmons anyway. I heard about a trade.
They about to, bro. He not taking no jump shots, bro. He not
Don't
doing
even
anything.
do that. They're considered giving up Joel too, and
Nah, they trying to build around Embiid.
They trying to do either one. They're looking to move one of them. I mean,
I wouldn't move him. That would be a big mistake. But
moving Embiid.
If they do, I gotta get a bag. I need a bag. I need first rounds, and I need a lottery.
I'm weak. But going back to the Adam Silver conference call, they said NBA teams are getting the okay to test players, and a decision should come in like late June to reopen. They said they're not really rushing to make a decision yet, because they said they're looking towards starting the season from now on in December and having like the draft in like August. So it looks like the NBA is gonna be
August next year?
No, August this year, but they're looking to start the season from now on in December. So they're not looking to really rush coming back. Jilla?
I like to get in on this one. I actually don't like this new NBA format where the basketball starts
in December.
I feel like it throws off the whole balance, and I feel like if the NBA is looking to definitely rival the NFL, I think we need to have a season that coincides with the NFL, but at the same time is unique to its own fault. Like football has Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football.
Mm-hmm.
So that we know throughout the football season, we're getting Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night games. And I feel like that could implement something similar to that, but keep the same calendar. I think their ratings would go not exponentially, but I think they'd increase. Yeah, I think they'd increase. So I don't know. I don't like moving the season to December. I think it's weird, and it throws off the biological clocks of the NBA players that are in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I feel like it would cause a major shift, but at the same time, I mean, I'm kind of for it, because I mean they were kind of already leaning towards it. A lot of owners said that they didn't like the way the ratings were going at in the last couple of years, because like it was rivaling with the NFL, and they weren't getting the number that they wanted to. So pushing it to December kind of like doesn't allow you to compete with the NFL's ratings at that point. So, but it will mess with the players' biological, their bodies like natural.
I know what you mean, because
cycle.
They're used to.
Yeah,
they're just used to the NBA season being constructed in a certain way,
mm-hmm.
and so that would throw off the preparation for their bodies. But it is
I
what it
think
is.
they should scrap this season
A lot of people are saying that now, though. Yeah,
That's not fair.
Shaq and a whole bunch of other people are
because
saying
to
they might as well
me,
just cancel it.
if they wanted to like, regardless, I agree with Shaq. Like, regardless of what happens when they bring it back, if they bring it back, this year will always have like a certain fucking a certain stigma to it. Like
An asterisk.
this is gonna be the year that that whole virus thing, so that shit don't really count. So you might as well just wait till next year when everybody's fully healthy, everybody back on track. I know I get they want to compete with the NFL, but keep in mind the NFL has way less games than the NBA. They can afford to do those Monday, Thursday, and Sunday night games. There's only 16 games for the season.
And another thing
So
with the
like,
NFL is they're not on cable. Like you could have local TV and they're on your local
yeah,
TV channel. That's the thing with
NBA,
NBA
they
games. They're
do
not.
way too much. Like, if you really want to watch the games, not everybody has NBA channels unlocked on their
Mhm,
cable provider.
Right.
Not everybody has League Pass.
mhm.
And if they do want to rival the NFL, they got to change way more stuff than just the schedule. They got to switch up that whole all-star format. Like, we got to
Yeah.
something that's like going to bring viewers, but also be competitive at the same time, where I want to watch this every year. Don't change it up every year. Just start trying something. It's crazy. But
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I feel like they will bring it back before the year is over, though. Probably later. It's gonna be real weird though, like opening Christmas presents and trying to watch 2019 and
Basketball.
2020 playoffs. So it's gonna be
I
weird.
mean, I will say this about the NBA and the NFL. I think another thing that the NFL does is they provide pro ranking for their own sports. So football has this what's the word I'm looking for? I guess division, if you will, and it's like pro football focus where they analyze stats and they rank players. In the NFL, they just came off their 100th season and they ranked like their 100 best players and things like that. The NBA would never do that. And because the NBA doesn't do stuff like that, I feel like there's a level of memorabilia and just something with the fans that the fans can connect to that they're missing out on. Because like that NFL commercial during the halftime Super Bowl where they got Jim Brown and all these NFL legends in one place. It's like the NBA doesn't do stuff like that. When was the last time you seen a commercial like that for the NBA?
The
And
NBA
they
is
could do
focused
it.
more on like the business side as of lately. Well, as soon as Silver came into play, it kind of focused more on the business side of stuff like that. So they
I
didn't
don't like
focus
him.
on they don't they didn't focus on the like the fun stuff. So I think that's where that came from.
I do give a lot of prop to Adam Silver though, to pick up where David Stern left off. Like, he has some really big shoes to fill. I
He
ain't
did a
mad
good
at what
job
he
of
did
filling
so
them.
far.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he filled them
He
shoes
changed,
well.
a lot of stuff.
Like wow.
And David Stern wasn't all that good of a commissioner either. Let's not act like he was a saint.
I mean, I'm not
They-
gonna
No.
lie
He
though.
wasn't a saint, but like what did
What happened,
Adam
Rico?
Silver do?
Adam
I'm
Silver
not.
came in. Oh, go ahead, Rico.
Nah, I mean, like Adam Silver, I feel like he did like a decent job of filling what David Stern did. The only thing I feel like he should have did was definitely stop that free agent signing. I mean, we all know what free agent signing, but
He can't do that. He
but I
can't
mean,
do that. He
I
can't
mean,
do that, bro. He can't do
I'm
that.
not even trying to hear that though. I feel
See,
like
the thing
I
is,
mean, true.
Adam Silver is like is a players commissioner, as in where David Stern was all about yeah, even though Adam Silver is all about the money as well, but like David Stern just focused on straight like business and like keeping the NBA going up and up
Management.
and up. But like
And
Adam
look at
Silver
what
is
he was
more of
able
like,
to do.
yeah, that's why he gets so much like props and stuff like that. But Adam Silver, I mean, he's doing a pretty good job of like coming in and taking over for that role and keeping the ball rolling. Like I feel like he's done a pretty good job of that. So,
Another thing too,
and we just
he's
gotta
the
give him
first
time. I
person
mean,
I've seen.
David Stern started in '85 and he had all the way through 2014 to do all that stuff. So we got to give Adam Silver time to
20
see what else.
years.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Adam Silver's been in here for like what 6? We got to give him some time to see what else he
He's
can
been
do.
in here since.
He about to be at the halfway point, and I ain't really seen nothing.
I mean, what? I mean,
I mean, he's actually changing stuff though. Like, this is the first time that we actually seen somebody be like, "Yo, somebody bring them an idea like, yo, we might have to change this rule, or we might have to change this, that, and the
Yeah.
third, and he actually changes it or reconsiders it, like the scheduling, like even cutting it down from 82 to 75 games. Like David Stern would never did that.
And
Or
that's
even
fair,
consider it either. Yeah.
but think about it like this. I feel like this has all been sparked by what's also been going on in the NFL greatly. Because if you want to talk about that, I think the NFL just finished their CBA not too long ago, or they're still in that, and they added a
They
game.
actually
They
just
added a playoff team.
they just
So it's like I
they
feel like
just
those type of
restructured their
things going
CBA
on.
actually. They
Yeah,
just restructured it, but they were having a whole conflict with it because
Did they add a game?
the players were not agreeing. I don't think so.
yeah. NFL got 17 games this season
Yeah,
now.
they got 17 games this season.
They got
I don't
17
think
with
it's
an
this
extra
season.
playoff team.
I think it comes in another couple of years or so. I don't think
Nah,
it's
but they've been
official.
had to change that though. Like it's already one and done in the playoffs. Like you got to
Yeah,
give
that's
somebody
true.
another chance. It's already one and done.
I don't know, but I just feel like Adam Silver could do more.
I'll give him a couple more years to see what else he could do. Next news we got is there's possibly going to be a draft combine, but it's going to be a virtual combine.
Oh,
They
I
said
saw
they're
that.
Yeah, they said they're gonna take a poll with NBA, I guess, GMs and scouts and stuff like that, and see what players they want to see. And I guess they'll have those players do like drills or stuff like that at their home, or and they'll do interviews over Zoom and stuff like that. So I feel like that's how it's gonna be done. And they'll probably send
This could
videos too.
potentially change the whole fate of the NBA. Because like we already see people skipping college and going to the G League, but that's a conversation for another day. This I saw like a demo of it. It's basically everything that you do at the draft combine on an app without instructors. So they take your like the your wingspan, the size of your hands, your height, your vertical, all that. I don't know how true it is, like true size, true measurements. I don't know how true it is, but it looked like just about anybody could do this draft combine if they wanted to. So
Well,
I could
there hasn't
see
been
future
any.
prospects using it too.
There hasn't been any details about this virtual combine, how it's gonna work, but I'm probably assuming it's the players take videos of themselves working out at home and stuff like that, doing
Yeah.
the drills, and then they send it to the GMs of the teams, and then whatever interviews they would usually conduct at the combine, they probably conduct them over Zoom. But it's not going to be as much players. It's probably going to be a smaller pool because of the conditions that we're under now.
Probably only elite prospects.
Yeah, it probably is going to be only elite prospects. So we know usually when the combine comes, the elite prospects usually skip over the combine because they know where they're slated to go based on just interviews and their college season. So, all right, let's get into episode 7, y'all, of The Last Dance.
Oh man.
So the episode first started off with it showed Jordan going against the Nets in the first round of the 98 playoffs, and he was pissed because he was like, if we even lose to the Nets, it would be an issue because any game they'd lose to the Nets, he would find an issue with it because he didn't feel like the Nets were worthy of, I guess, facing them at the time. Understandable. I mean, the Nets weren't really popping in 98. They didn't get
Never
JB
popping.
yet.
Never popping.
They were popping in the early 2000s when they went to the finals a couple times.
No, they were not. What did my boys do? Get them out of there. Get them out of it.
You gotta respect Jason Kidd and them boys.
Facts in the early 2000s. I give him respect for that. And then it went on to the 93 offseason where we saw the whole thing with Jordan's father going missing, and then he talks about how his dad had a huge impact on his life, and he basically was his dad was like a friend to him, and he would give him advice and he would talk him through everything. And then when the whole thing about him going missing and his eventual death, that's when it started to take a toll on Jordan, and Jordan was really considering the retirement option. So they say that some people had these theories that Jordan's gambling issues were to blame for his father's death, and
that's nonsense though.
And then now go. How do you guys feel about those theories, I guess?
To be honest, when you what's that saying? If you're a hero, you're gonna live long enough to see yourself become the villain. People was just tired of Michael Jordan being on top of the world, bro.
I see. I know which one he's talking about. What is it?
It's the quote from Gotham.
Yeah, I was watching.
Not Gotham, but Batman.
one of the
You either die here or live long
Long
enough to
enough
see
to see
yourself become
yourself
a
yeah,
become a
villain.
villain.
that
Mm-hmm.
on the doc, the new they replay one of the news stations. The broadcaster was like, nobody has conducted themselves and handle this amount of fame like Michael Jordan, and he was right at that time. Like I would say from the time he came in to about I would say probably 93, probably like 92, 93. Like you gotta maintain that perfect image, bro. Like you the best
Yeah.
player in the world, undeniably. Like you see how LeBron and Zion, they smiling every time a camera in their face, this and that. You gotta save face, you gotta do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he was just tired of that, bro. So it's no surprise to me that people try to connect the dots and come up with nothing because people just be looking for a story.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
all it
same
is at
thing
the end of the day.
nowadays. They're just looking for a story, but that's horrible timing. Imagine how he must have felt. Your
Yeah, I
pops
was about to
murdered
say
in
that's
cold blood.
crazy. And the
And the thing is,
headline
he was
is
just coming off the gambling case where he was with the golf hustler, Slim,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
they found a check with his name on it, and then they were like, "Yo, like, what's this check for?" And he was like, "Oh, it's to pay off gambling debts." And then the whole thing about the '93 playoffs with the Knicks, there was controversy there of like, was Jordan tired from gambling all night with his dad? So a lot of people were just trying to connect little dots and try to figure out the story. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
it's just a tragic case of his father was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's just what happened.
me and said because it's like, I knew Jordan lost his pops, but I didn't know the climate and the way it happened. Feel me? Losing your pops is one thing, but to be chilling and just like, yo, he turns up missing is like, whoa. So that's already one blow you gotta take. Because when they tell you he's missing, you're not gonna assume they're dead. You're gonna, try to have some
Hope for the
level of
best, yeah.
optimism. And then it's like you gotta go from that to actually hearing the news that it's confirmed that he's gone. And then the media is headlining that it's basically tied to your gambling problem.
Yeah.
So that was OD. I agree. I feel like Michael Jordan definitely navigated being the best ever, the best. But a lot of people talk about the scrutiny LeBron sees too. And I won't lie, LeBron does receive some scrutiny, some bad scrutiny. But I don't think ever, ever, ever would anyone do anything like this.
Or blame him for someone's
LeBron
death.
James. Yeah, nah, I don't think they would ever do anything like that.
I feel
Not
like
his fathers. I feel like that's OD.
I feel like they definitely learned from like the whole Jordan thing, because I feel like even when they were saying that Jordan had like a gambling problem, blah blah blah, I definitely agree with that one interview Jordan had when he was like, if I had a gambling problem, like I would have been losing money, I would have been like selling around
Word.
rings, all this
Selling
other
his
stuff.
rings.
Yeah, it's just like the media was trying so hard to like demonize Michael Jordan, and then like so like I feel like when like LeBron came around, they definitely was like, you know what, we're gonna stop doing this. And even with like KD, Kyrie, and like how the whole like mental the whole mental illness problem we've been having recently. I mean, of recent, but I mean, you could probably not make that argument like earlier in his career, but they definitely tried to like limit that. But the scrutiny like LeBron would face is definitely just like him not showing up or like selling
Yeah.
out like on the court versus
Yeah,
as
it's
Jordan.
definitely not like his personal life. Nobody attacks
Yeah.
LeBron for his personal life.
If anything, his personal life is like used to elevate his career on the court, which doesn't
Yeah.
correlate, but people try to make it correlate. But yeah.
Got to. That man is an excellent father, bro. You can't leave that
Yeah.
out.
And I mean, also, I feel like with people bring up like LeBron's like accomplishments off the court, because I feel like when we all we knew Jordan for was really sneakers, and Jordan really didn't show us a side of him but outside of like his sneakers and like those little commercials he had. Like whenever you think of LeBron, you think of like what
An
he's done for like
activist.
what he's done for like
A
Ohio.
humanitarian.
Yeah, humanitarian. Like he got the school, he got all that other stuff. So I feel like that's why people
Right.
bring it up. But
And yeah, that was kind of spoke about on like the last two episodes about like Jordan's like activism or like non-activism at that point, where he made the joke where he was on the bus with his teammates. He was like, Republicans wear sneakers too. So
yeah, he was foul for saying that though. He was mad
He was-
foul.
He
It
was-
was an ignorant statement to make. Don't get me wrong, but if you're in the privacy of your boys on the bus, you know what goes down when
Yeah.
you're around your boys.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah, it's straight
That's
jokes.
You know
true,
what
but
goes
I feel-
down when you are around your boys. You think you in what's the word I'm looking for? You know, a safe space
Yeah.
Say
You
whatever
know?
you want. Jones
Yeah, it's
around your
camaraderie. Feel
name.
me? Yeah, you're just chopping it up with the guys. I
Now
feel
your
like
reporters looking over their shoulders, writing down headlines.
Got the
What?
notepad in their hand, getting busy.
Imagine you wake up and see something that you told your man's on a bus. Like, no,
No, that's a fact. That's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
I
It's
feel like another
crazy.
point that has to be made in all of this is like, all right, so wait, hold on, give me a second. Matter of fact, keep going. We'll just keep going.
All right, so he ultimately decides to retire, and we saw the press conference for it. I mean, I never seen a press conference for anything that huge, except for like when the Big Three came together in Miami, where they had that big like concert thing. But like when he decided to retire, it was
That's
like
still disrespectful to this day.
Yo, that ain't really
I
crazy.
still think about that, bro. They came out dancing.
Bro, and they
I
promised
still
8
think about that.
Like they
championships.
Migos, like they was Migos, yo. They came out like Migos, yo. Like it was a music video. Yo.
Bro, I actually questioned if they were allowed to do this, bro. That was
Honestly,
so
I would have.
unorthodox, bro. It was crazy. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy,
Nah.
bro.
then
LeBron
the-
over there doing a Dougie on national TV. You just left Cleveland, bro. Come on, people burning your
Yo, he had
Jersey.
no remorse. He had no remorse for Cleveland, yo.
I mean, he came back and won him a chip. He
He
made
did,
amends,
but at
right?
the
I
time
can't
he had
even be
no cares in the world for them, yo.
Yo, and they wasn't supposed to
Not
win that
one,
chip either.
not
They
two,
was dead supposed to
not
lose
three, not four, not.
Eric Spoelstra's still wondering where those rings at. Eric
People
Spoelstra-
forget about Eric Spoelstra too. He's a good coach.
He's a
still
great
the-
coach, yeah.
He's still the coach of Miami for mad long.
Yeah.
Yo,
they-
get
bro,
out of
Pat Riley
here.
can't.
Get
Pat Riley
outta
cannot
here.
fire that man.
I'm
Pat
not
Riley
hearing
cannot
none of
fire
that.
that man.
You don't think he's a good
How
coach?
hard could it be to coach LeBron James, Dwayne
Nah,
Wade,
but we
and
see what he's
Chris
done.
Bosh? Come
Post
on.
those guys, though.
But we see what he's
Post
doing with
those
Miami, bro.
guys.
Those guys?
He
What is
still
he doing?
made Miami a competitive playoff team, and this year they're like a top contender in the East.
No, this year they're a competitive playoff team. Last year they were just a playoff team.
I think they were competitive.
I mean, last time
Hell no.
they were winning games though. Like even after they left with like just D Wade for a little bit. I mean, think about it. Come on, look at what happens when LeBron leaves the team.
Bro, they had a
were they winning?
They had a squad of
games were they
Amari
winning?
Stoudemire post knees, Luol Deng, Joe Johnson post Brooklyn, and they still like almost made it to the conference finals. I think what was it, 2015? It was. They almost went to the
Are
conference
we
finals.
really awarding people for almost going to the conference finals? The Knicks
I mean,
almost
these
went to the
days we
conference
award people
finals,
for
but they
much
lost in the
less.
second round.
We award
So, I
people for
mean-
much less these days. So
True word. True word.
a lot of teams and a lot of
Like
players.
who? Like who?
I can't name
gotta
off the
hear
top
this.
of the head right now, but I know we award people for much less.
All right, here's the thing.
That's a fact.
We knew the moment LeBron left Miami, they weren't going to see the finals for a pretty long time. To be
I
where
mean, but
they
you don't
at,
have to see the finals.
to be where they at, all we're saying is to be where they at right now, it proves that Eric Spoelstra was doing something right. Because they ain't just fall off the face of the earth. Like, they stayed in the mix.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of people also speculated for this retirement that this was a secret suspension by David Stern on Michael Jordan for his gambling problems. And they said that David Stern just suspended him for 18 months. But at the time, I think in 94, the NBA was approaching a new TV deal. So it wouldn't make sense to suspend your top guy for that whole year, knowing that you're going into a TV contract when you know Michael's going to give you all the TV ratings in the world. So I don't think that was a suspension by the league on Michael Jordan for, what was it, 18 months, they said?
Mm-hmm.
So
if Michael came back that year, his career would have probably been cut short. Like, we would have probably never got that last three-peat.
If he never retired?
If he never retired the first time and came back that year, what was that?
That would have been the 93 to 94 season.
93, 94. If he came back that year, we would have never got that last three-peat. There's no way. You win 3 chips, bro. Forget it, but let's put physical exhaustion to the side. You're playing 82 games a year, right? And then you got to go through 4 rounds of the playoffs.
Back then, first round was, I think, best of 5, though.
Pop
So
just got murdered
Sheesh.
in cold blood. emotionally, that's gonna mess you up. I don't care who you are. Jordan,
Yeah.
we was looking at Jordan like Superman, bro, and people didn't realize, like, yo, he got a family, he got kids, he got a mom, like, he got feelings too.
Right.
I think that break was much needed, and that gave, like, even watching that baseball scene, I didn't realize that towards the end of his baseball career, he was that good. Like, they said he was about to go to the majors, I think, but they had a
They
strike.
said if he kept playing in the minors, he would have made it to the majors eventually.
But it's crazy to me. I feel like nobody has like a better basketball story than Michael Jordan. I'll be thinking about it, I'm like, it looks like this story was written by somebody else for real.
Like it's like if you were to make like the perfect basketball movie.
The perfect basketball story. Like,
Damn, I don't know about stopping to play. I don't know about stopping to play baseball is in there though.
Yeah, I don't think maybe not that part, but like taking a break.
That was his childhood dream. I couldn't even knock that.
I feel like I agree with you. He definitely needed the mental break because I feel like just having to be because winning a championship obviously takes a different level of a mental mindset because you have to be locked in damn near every game of the season and playoffs and then finals. So, that takes a mental toll on you. And we've definitely seen players, repeat, but we haven't really seen many teams as a whole just get to 3 finals in a row.
Yeah.
So definitely shout out to the teams who have done it because, it definitely takes a level of mental resilience. But
and you see
need that physical break of just not having to literally run up the court every ball fielder. You just stand there. And if they hit you the ball, you catch it. If they don't hit it to you, you don't do anything. So, he could go a game or 2 in a row, just not doing anything. So definitely just taking that rest was much needed so that he could readjust his mental focus for basketball. And I'll credit the Bulls' general management. I think even in that 2-year break, they were able to get some pieces so that when he came back and they lost to Shaq, that they were able to bounce back and then be able to, be more competitive. And obviously they three-peated again.
You want to know what's funny too? Every time I be watching Jordan, I get so jealous because he always gets payback, bro. It's not fair. Like when he came back in '94 and he wasn't exactly like 100%.
Oh, in the '95
Orlando beat him.
Finals?
Yeah, and then Orlando beat him 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah.
Yo, what are the odds that you see them again next year, bro?
Yeah,
and you get to sweep them. That's so unfair, bro. That's so unfair. And then you win a chip off that? Like, come on, bro.
It's perfect. Like everything
That's
came together.
Unfair, bro. Like his story was written by God himself, bro.
All right, so then they talk about after the baseball stuff. I mean, people say that he was a bum in baseball, but I mean, considering the fact that he stopped playing at the age of 17 and then came back at age 31 and was hitting he had a batting average of 202. Those of you that know baseball, that's pretty good for someone that took off that much time playing the game and came back, Jaleel. That's a pretty good number for someone who took off 14 years.
Michael Jordan.
He had to retrain his body to play baseball.
That's true. I'll give you
different
that.
Type of body.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yo, stop talking about him like he Bo Jackson or something. I don't want to hear that.
Yo, listen, I got a mic poster that I had in my crib since I was a baby, bro. This one deep, bro. I love Mike, bro. I really love Mike, bro.
All right, so then they talk about him as a teammate, as he was pushing his teammates to be better. We saw the whole segment of him talking about pushing Scott Burrell because he felt like Scott Burrell was a piece that they would need later on. But he said also that that wasn't always the case because some guys he would push too hard and they would end up leaving the team in like a year or so. And some of the guys that he pushed, he thought that they had another level to them, but like guys like Scott Burrell, we saw like Scott Burrell was just a basic like 9th man on the bench or whatever. So, and they said that his teammates were also scared of him, like Judd Buechler and Will Perdue. They were saying like he was a jerk, but they were like scared of him. But they needed to be scared of him because like he wanted them to reach another level that he knew that they were able to reach and able to help them to win. So there's that.
Looking back, I know he gets a lot of flack, right? Hear me out. But looking back, if Jordan was a loser, for lack of a better word, right? If he was a loser, then maybe I could be like, all right, he was maybe dragging it a little bit. But with
Yeah, I'm with Frankie on this one.
bro,
I'm with Frankie all the way.
6 championships, bro. He must have been doing something right, bro.
Yo, he
He must have
got
been
the
doing
formula,
something
bro.
right. He left
He
the
got it.
game.
Scream at me all you want.
He said, you know what? I gotta do it again, bro. 3 feet again. Come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Everyone who wore a Bulls jersey with him, they're gonna tell you he was an a-hole.
Mhm.
But they're not going. They can't never say that he ain't coming every day, bro, and give 150%, bro.
That's a fact. And he
Yeah,
said that. That's when he started tearing up at the
150%,
end of the episode. Remember when he was
bro,
tearing
I
up?
cried watching that too. He didn't tell them do nothing. He ain't do himself.
That's a
And
fact.
That's what a leader is. That's
Facts.
what a leader should be. As a competitive
Definitely.
person,
That is a competitive
Mike,
person.
I don't got nothing bad to say about Mike.
All right, so then we get to the 93 season where that's the first season without MJ and Scotty as the lead guy. They played a more team-oriented ball and they shared the ball more. They showed like a couple montage clips of them just like passing the ball around the perimeter, like everyone was touching the ball at least twice.
Mhm.
And he that season he got MVP of the All-Star game. He was third in MVP voting. He had an All-NBA first-team nomination. He averaged 22 points per game, about 8.7 rebounds, 5.6 assists, and 2.9 steals per game. So pretty good
season.
pretty good season as a
What was he
number one option
averaging
for Scotty. He was averaging 22 points per game.
20.
what?
22
Like
points per
8.
game, 8.7 rebounds per game, 5.6 assists per game, and 2.9 steals per game. Yeah.
The Bulls should be ashamed of the way they was robbing Scotty.
Yeah, bro.
Scotty should be ashamed of himself for signing that.
At the time, though, his like agent, I guess, was like telling him like the owner was like the owner lied and said, "Oh, I tried to tell Scotty not to sign the deal," but we all know the owner just wanted to get Scotty off his back, and he was like, "Yo, Scotty, just sign the extension." And then I guess his agent didn't like thoroughly look through it. That's honestly, that's on Scotty's agent.
People forget Michael was underpaid his whole career too.
Yeah, that's why the owner was like, he paid Michael.
He paid him. He was only making
Paid him while he was during the baseball season. But in the actuality, I think after the 96 offseason, he got paid, I think, $30 million for a 1-year contract.
Nah, let me tell you something. You see that 95-96 team, bro? Mm-hmm. They really the best team ever assembled, bro.
Of course.
Like the
argument that some people do pose to that is that the league was going through an expansion and they just added like I think two new teams at the time. So they were trying to say like the player pool, I guess, was not as strong as it was in the previous couple years.
You can't even say that because like the Orlando Magic, after like not even 5-6 years of being an expansion team, went to the NBA Finals with Shaquille O'Neal. So I can't jack that.
And not Orlando. I think they were talking about let me look this up real quick.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there were other expansion teams, but like at the same time,
those expansion teams were like they were weaker teams at the time. So
of course, because Orlando started off as a weak team, but like at the same time, you cannot sit here and act like expansion teams didn't have the potential to be much better than they were. If they suck, it's because those are sucky organizations to this day.
They added the two Canada teams in '95. That's what they did.
What was it? The Vancouver
Grizzlies and Toronto, yeah. So
two more teams.
There were two more teams.
Never got it right, and neither did the Raptors until last year.
To be honest, in terms of that 95-96 team, when they went to Steve Kerr, he was like, he saw when he saw Michael at practice, he was frothing at the mouth, ready to play. And
that was in the next episode.
Yo, you cannot even knock that team, bro. They had already won. If you see Michael when he was working out after he filmed Space Jam, they had already won that chip for that year, bro. They had already won that chip for that year without the season even being started, bro. Like, and they ran that offense to perfection. I feel like that's low-key the best Jordan. You're not going to get a better Jordan than that. Other than
95 and 96?
95, 96. And then I'm going to put
92?
I'm going to put 92 in there. That
92 Jordan
money
was
game is elite.
that 92 team. A lot of people say
crazy on
they
2K,
feel
bro.
like that was the best Chicago team during the run, because they feel like
Nah, they
some
had
people,
no help,
some people
though.
that actually watched it during the time. I'm saying Jalil, like Michael Wilbon and other people that lived in
literally
Chicago.
just Jordan though.
But I just feel like having Dennis Rodman is much better than having Horace Grant.
Horace Grant could score though.
100%.
He was a scorer
100%.
and he was a rebounder and he played defense.
But I don't feel like there's
Horace,
any
when he
type
went
of
to
scoring that Horace excels at so much that Dennis Rodman can't do.
Horace was great from mid range and the post. I'll give him
I
that.
get that.
I mean,
And then when he went to
that.
Orlando, he averaged 20 and 10. So
we can ship,
midi
out,
is
we can
definitely
ship out Horace Grant. Just give me Tony Kukoc.
true.
My boy was shooting from outside the field. Like,
And speaking of Kukoc, they spoke about the time where Scotty was pissed in the playoffs because they ran the Phil Jackson ran the play for Scotty and Scotty not for Scotty, for Tony, and Scotty was pissed. And then
But
they
it
said in the
worked,
lock.
so you can't even argue with the meta, bro.
You can't argue with it because Phil drew it up, right? He said, yo, he scored on this play before, and they showed him scoring on it at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And when he made it, I was like, damn, Phil, you got it. But I can't even get mad at Scotty. Like,
Scotty felt like he was the man at the time.
Yeah, if you're going to dub me your number 2 man, and then Jordan dip, and I got to pick up the slack, and I got to tote the load around here, I got to put on the backpack, bro, say, yo, let's go. I need more respect than that, bro. Put the ball in my hands.
What Loki had me weak was when they talked about.
I could live with a miss, bro.
What Loki had me weak is when they talked about Bill Cartwright in the locker room. He was crying and he made a speech.
Like, yo,
I was like, yo, bro, relax. It's not that serious,
that, bro. Get out of here with that. We knew they wasn't gonna win that. But put the ball in my hands, coach. Come on.
Not gonna lie.
Big grown man. How tall is Bill Cartwright? 7 feet tall or something? Big grown man.
Bill Cartwright's like 7'1", I think.
They definitely hated Tony Kukoc for no reason, though.
Huh?
They definitely hated Tony Kukoc for no reason.
Bro, it was because of Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause was
too.
running his mouth about Tony Kukoc.
I ain't even gonna front.
Jerry Krause was like, oh, Tony's the future of the Bulls. Mind you, you have MJ and Scotty winning your 3 straight chips, and you saying this.
To be honest,
wait, that was Krause, right?
Yeah, Krause, the GM. He was
I'm sorry. He rubs me the wrong way. I just don't understand how you can have Michael Jordan and even know what the word rebuild means. What? How rebuild? Why?
The Bulls didn't realize what they had until it was really gone. Like, I think they realized what they had at the time, but they took it for granted.
Yeah.
Like, you don't break something like this up, bro. If it's the Warriors, it's a different case. We could rebuild around Steph. You could say something like that. But not when MJ's winning chips, bro. Every time he's winning, bro. You don't break something like that.
Thank you. You don't break something
like that. You don't break that up, bro.
You ask him what he needs to make it work, and you give it to him. If he said he needs Phil, get 2 Phils. If he needs a Scotty, get 2
bro,
Scotties.
I would have paid Phil Jackson anything he wanted, bro.
Jerry Krause
I would have gave it to him.
You know what it was with Jerry Krause? He wanted
the respect.
It's not even that. He was like, oh, I found Phil Jackson, and now Phil Jackson's getting all this credit and not me for finding him. He's like, I bet I'll build my own thing without all of y'all when all of y'all are gone, and I'll get the credit I deserve then. Because then people will say Jerry Krause built this team.
But I'm gonna take a page out of Max Kellerman book. He said he always say football it's the coaches, basketball it's the players, and I forgot what other sport he used, but like baseball. Yeah, management put this together, but at the end of the day, we going out here, we tying up our laces, bro. We getting on the court, bro. You supposed to put me in a position to be successful, and then I'm supposed to get us to the finish line. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Whatever I need, I come to you.
You give it to me.
You make it happen. That's it. Other than that, if we lose, then you could tell me something. But nah, come on, bro. You don't break that up. MJ could have had about 12 in him, bro.
12 of them things. Nah, I'm with Frank. How can you make the argument that he was gonna lose if he wasn't losing?
True, because I mean, you actually, I agree. Because then Phil doesn't leave for the Lakers. The Lakers probably never get going as the way they're supposed to get going.
And who knows? I mean, probably Kobe don't have as much chance, but we never know.
That's what I'm saying. He might not even be a Laker no more. They might not even decide to go get him from Charlotte. Charlotte might keep him.
No, I think they already made that. He was already there. Because remember, he was what you call it. Remember they faced each other in the 98 All-Star game? So he was already there before Phil even Phil got there. Because Phil left after the 98 season, joined in 99.
Yeah. He didn't go there the very next season?
Nah.
Where do you go first?
I don't know. That's kind of a gray area for me.
Yeah. I know Coach Phil was the coach from the 99 2000 season all the way to the 2000 I think 12 season. I think so. But then we have that montage at the end where Michael's talking about like people calling. I think this is the part where he was talking about how he thought people were going to perceive him as a bad guy after they saw this, because he was like, oh, people could call me a tyrant, but that's because you never won anything. He said, if you ask my teammates, the one thing about Michael Jordan was he never asked me to do something that he didn't do himself and stuff like that. So basically he was talking, I think this is the part where he was going into where he was like because remember before the documentary come out, he said that people are going to hate me for this, hate me for this documentary. But I don't think people are going to hate him. I think people just gain more of an understanding of why he did things the way he did.
To be honest, from being a basketball player and a lover of basketball, I don't want Michael Jordan to be a nice person. I know what happens in locker rooms. Nobody is truly a nice person 100% of the time. LeBron is not in there talking about, yeah, let's do this, guys. Not saying that he never does it, but LeBron is in there cursing people out, bro.
Perfect.
LeBron's in there telling man he's getting traded next game if he's not doing right, bro. But nobody gonna say that it's LeBron. You gotta keep face. But he as long as you're a good leader, and he made that clear, he didn't do nothing he didn't tell him to do. It's one thing to be like, yo, do this, that, like, nah, you just body around. But nah, he went out there and he worked, bro. He deserves every right to say everything he said to his teammates. You try to get them to a different level, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. You gotta live with that.
All right, so then episode 8 starts to talk about when Michael starts how Michael gets motivated for certain games or a series or whatever it may be. He just needed something to get him motivated. So it talks about how in the 98 playoffs, after they beat the Nets, they faced the Hornets, and BJ Armstrong is on the Hornets, and he used to play for the Bulls. And he had a great game against them in game 2. And after he hit the dagger, he kind of like screamed and stared down at the Bulls bench. And then he in the interview was like, in hindsight, he knew that he shouldn't have done that, because he knew that would be something that motivates Mike to go kill mode the next couple games.
You see that boy in the locker room swinging that bat?
Yeah, he looked like he wanted to murder someone. He was moving like Negan. He was moving like Negan from The Walking Dead.
Nah, I ain't worried. I ain't worried. This is the talk when you up. I be talking from behind. Yo, Mike is on yes.
Yeah.
And he said that he felt like he should have dominated BJ, and then he went after him for the rest of the series. Like, we saw, like, he had him on clamps, and like, I mean, BJ Armstrong is not someone that's gonna go out and drop like 25.
2 for 7 that night. It was 2 for 7. Ice cold.
My favorite part of this episode had to be the LaBradford Smith story, where the rookie from Washington, where the rookie had like 37 against him, and Mike struggled, but the Bulls still won, I think. And he says that LaBradford Smith went up to him after the game and was like, "Good game, Mike." And then from there, he was like, "The next game we play against them, I'm gonna drop the same amount of points he dropped on me."
And it just so happened that they had a back-to-back. You see how unfair that is?
And then Mike had 36 in the first half against him, and he was like off on him.
Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Who was up there writing this story,
and
bro?
And then Mike says after, like, was it true about LaBradford Smith saying "good game" to you? And he was like, "Nah, I made it up. Totally fabricated."
Listen, say what you want about Michael Jordan. You gotta respect that man, bro.
Someone said he's a sociopath that just happened to be good at basketball.
That's probably the correct word to use. Probably the correct word to use.
But I feel like what more could you want from a professional athlete than is itching to win? Like,
yeah,
facts.
Like, it doesn't get any better. That's why I like Tom Brady. That's why I like Tom Brady. I like him as a person. Maybe not as a quarterback.
That's why I respect Tom Brady.
Yes, because he gets on that field and he's like, "Yo, I'm ready to turn up."
Don't do that. Don't do that. Tom Brady will win it too.
Nah, he
Tom
is.
Brady will win it too.
I just got
Those to
that.
Gronk.
Remember when he
Yo,
tore his
Rico is
ACL last
hilarious.
season after? Remember the
Yo, oh yeah,
comeback.
he came. Nah, he came back from
Remember
that
the
ACL
remember the
tear.
comeback,
Stupid. He came back from that was
bro.
stupid.
Don't get me wrong. And he ain't even have a lot of good receivers. He be making anybody catch that rock, bro.
Wait, I'm
Nice.
sorry. I gotta go back to Adam Silver, bro. I can't let up on him. I can't let
Yo,
up.
we are like in a whole nother subject right now. What happened with Adam Silver?
I just don't like what he like. What is he actually doing? Like, I don't like. How are we in a more like
Player, just look
media
at it
takes
now. This is
over
like the
more?
player
How are the
empowerment.
ratings going down though?
This is the player empowerment era.
That's just a
due to
shift.
him.
That's just a shift. The NBA is about it. In the next 5 to 10 years, the NBA is gonna look completely different. It's gonna be way easier to get in. The game is gonna change. The players, what they look like, is gonna change. Right now, we moving from positionless to younger players getting in to more players getting in. They soon have to add more teams.
Probably.
Definitely should have more teams.
How many
I've
more
heard
teams?
things. I've heard things.
They've got to
about,
add at least 4. They got to add at least 4.
Whoa, I've heard just 2.
Or
I've just heard about 2.
That's just my personal opinion.
Oh,
I
your
think
personal
they should
opinion.
add at least
Nah,
4.
but from what I've heard,
Because certain cities deserve a basketball team.
Seattle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Seattle needs one.
Seattle's
Seattle
being looked
needs one
into
back.
though. Seattle's being looked into for an NBA team again, I think.
Listen, like you can, bro, take away them teams like in the middle of nowhere, bro,
I don't think
and
there are.
put them someplace with a nice vote.
I heard Shaq was saying
back.
Shaq was saying something about a team being moved to Vegas. So one of our current
that wouldn't
teams
I
be
believe that.
terrible.
to Vegas.
I believe that, but I wouldn't want to play for that team.
I feel like they're gonna be trash just naturally. I'm not.
Oh
gonna
yeah,
lie.
of course. I think the natural order of like an expansion team is just to be trash off rip because you're not gonna
Listen,
get that
they
many
could give
good
me a
players.
10-day, I'll pull up.
But we in the episode they go back to 95 season and BJ starts inviting Mike to the Bulls practices. And it starts becoming a trend and everybody's like, oh snap, is Mike coming back? Is Mike coming back? Because the whole baseball season was like they were having an issue with the baseball season and Mike was like, I'm not gonna play during this time because like we had all this other time to play, and there was a whole situation with the baseball season. So he ultimately decides to come back, and he felt, and I've heard from other interviews that he said that he felt like he could steal a championship when he came back because he felt like the league was weak. So in 95, he thought that the league was weak enough for him to just come in and steal it. But as we saw, when he came back, the Bulls were actually struggling. They were like barely above 500. And people get that wrong in history because people are always like the conversation when it's Mike versus LeBron, it's always like, oh, Mike left the team and they were a 55-win team. But that was only for one season. The next year they were like barely 500 because they lost a lot of the key pieces that were on the team previously. So especially Horace Grant. That goes back to Horace Grant, Jaleel.
I ain't even mad at the Horace Grant move. Horace Grant was kind of
Jerry Krause didn't want to keep him though. Jerry Krause cut ties with him, and Horace was like, "I bet I'm getting my bag in Orlando."
I got like a really soft vibe from him. Like even just watching him talk about that whole Sam Smith thing with the book, I was like, he probably did this.
Nah, it's Phil. Nah, it's Phil.
That's not fair.
Phil.
Why gotta be Phil though?
Phil's written many books about inside locker rooms.
Oh nah. Don't get me wrong. He couldn't have been the only one spilling information.
But but I think Phil was the main one. Phil's been credited on many books talking about inside many teams' locker rooms. So I just think it's Phil. Phil, based on
I think we just gotta accept the fact that Phil is a snake. Still respect him though.
Yeah, one hell of a coach, but soft.
You be like one hell of the nigga has three peats.
No,
that's a fact. That's crazy.
Yo, he's really
Rico, that's just
really
one hell of
a. And you know what's crazy? He won one for the Knicks.
Yeah, in 73.
He won 2. He won both of them.
In 70 and 73, I think it was, or 71 and 73.
It's either 71 and 73 or 77.
Yeah. It was in the 70s. But anyway, Mike has the double nickel game at MSG, of course, because, everybody
goes
loves.
over at the Garden.
Yeah, everybody goes off at the
Bro.
Garden.
Nah, hold on. Nah, we gotta talk about it though. I feel like the culture with the MSG, bro. Everybody just comes and has their career high.
And goes nut, bro.
And everybody loves
Bro.
saying, "Oh, I love playing in the Garden," but never want to pull up and wear orange and blue. Like, what's up with that?
Because I'm telling you, Samuel, what have I been saying about the Knicks? It's the whole front office. Everybody from the owner to the coach needs to get packed up.
I've heard from many agents, James Dolan is not the problem. People have no problem with James Dolan. It's whoever he hires to be in the front office that stinks.
That's his fault.
Well, he's not a good basketball person, so why are they asking him to hire basketball?
You gotta.
That's
the
why
only
we
way to
pack him
solve
up.
this, you gotta blow up the whole Knicks operation, fire everybody from the head to the toe.
That's what I'm saying. Fire everybody from owner to coach.
I feel like
and
this
then,
time he
we
got
get a
it
new
right.
coach, get rid of the
Leon
whole
Rose.
roster.
Yeah, then we need a coach who got a winning mentality. I don't need no big name brand coach. I just need a coach who know how to win.
Mr. Potato
I
Head.
need somebody that know how to win.
Let's
Real
go
David
talk.
Calipari
David
or
Fizdale's
Thibodeau.
whole resume.
I'm not even mad at
cool.
Thibodeau, but it looked like Thibodeau going to Brooklyn.
Nah, bro. Let Thibodeau go to Brooklyn, bro. That man, he
runs players into the ground.
Yeah,
he plays them 45 minutes a night.
Yeah,
Tom Thibodeau runs players 45 minutes a night. That's why Jimmy Butler tore his meniscus in Minnesota.
And Derrick Rose tore his ACL.
And Derrick Rose tore his ACL. He was playing
in the final minute of a game, bro.
Where they were up by 13. Why is he in the game?
Exactly.
He's the reason we don't see
So wait,
none of that.
None of that. You know what? All right.
Nah. Speak your mind. Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say.
Nah, because I'm gonna be the demon on the.
We need a demon.
So none of the onus falls on D Rose. None of this is his fault.
Nah, the only fault I give D Rose is for that
hop step, bro.
Hop step that he performed going into that lane. Why are you doing this powerful A move, bro? It's like a minute left in it. It's like a minute left.
Stomping into the paint.
Yo, bro. When Derrick Rose went down, oh my God.
You shouldn't be laughing at this.
We
shouldn't be laughing at this.
I said, bro, are you serious?
We shouldn't be
sit down on the bench, sip your little Gatorade, and prepare for the next game. That's all you have to do. You shattered that man knee.
That's a fact.
Yo, Frankie is a goon, yo.
I'm praying for Kyrie. I'm praying for KD. If that man go over there, oh my God.
First of all, I don't even like Kyrie
man.
on the Nets, but that's neither here nor there.
It's something that I gotta get. It's something I gotta get used to seeing.
It's a conversation for another day. All right, so fast forward to the second round of the 95 playoffs, and that's where MJ is starting to look a little rusty, where he got the ball stolen from him at the end of game one, and then in the last possession, he threw the ball away when he was trying to throw the ball to Scottie. And
yeah, that was so un-MJ like, bro.
Yeah, it looked weird
away
seeing
from
him like that.
I turned away from the screen when I saw it. It was so cringe to watch.
Nah,
he had
the
shot too.
He did, but Scottie was low-key open too.
I thought about it. It was a good pass. If Scottie caught it, we would have been saying a different.
If Scottie ain't cut, because Scottie looked like he was trying to cut, and then MJ didn't peep it. So
yeah,
if Scottie never tried
it
to
definitely
cut,
looked like a miscommunication, but it wasn't the right play. But it wasn't the worst play.
I mean, you win some, you lose some. Definitely.
Facts. But the next game, he dropped 38 in a win. So.
Right.
But at the end of the series, when they lost in 6, a lot of people were saying this excuse of Mike was not in game shape. I mean, to their point, he wasn't. But at the same time, he still averaged 31, 8, and 7. So, I mean, what is really game shape at that point? So.
I mean, they were going up against a Shaquille O'Neal, and I don't care what nobody says. Shaquille
Penny,
is one hell of a nigga to stop.
Horace too, and they didn't have anybody. They didn't have Dennis Rodman at the time. They were running Tony Kukoc and Bill Wennington and
as long as you have
Tony
anybody
Kukoc
who's
also
light
gave
on
me a
Shaquille O'Neal,
vibe.
it's not gonna work. No, Tony Kukoc is definitely soft.
I mean, all Europeans get that stigma though. So I mean,
yeah, but I mean, he's guarding Shaq. You have Tony Kukoc on Shaquille.
Nah, they
No,
probably had.
bro.
I think they had Tony on Horace, and they were playing like Bill Wennington and
Oh yeah, that made it
Will
better.
Purdue at on
So they
Shaq.
just put Shaq on the block and they just lobbing it up.
Basically.
Why not?
Let me see how much Shaq averaged that series because I know he low key probably went off.
Nah, he did because I remember. I think it was in another doc. They was talking about how when Mike took that year off, like a couple of new names started to see who was going to take the crown of the king in the NBA, and they had Shaq up there, like a young Shaq. But Mike came back and stopped
Shaq was
that
doing
real
everything
quick.
too.
Stopped that real quick.
He stopped that ASAP.
Shaq was averaging 24, 13, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks.
Who, Shaq?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
And
that's
then-
low
like
for
what?
Shaq.
That's like what, his sophomore year, rookie year?
Nah,
Sophomore.
he came in 92, so this was 95. So this was like his
Oh, so he's like 3 years in.
third, fourth year or so.
Shaq is 92?
Yeah, he was drafted in 92.
Damn, that seemed early.
Yeah.
Horace Grant averaged 18, 11, and 1 block in that series. So
If you put Michael on that team, though, that's a chip.
of course, because they had Penny averaging 18 and 7.5 assists.
As long as
2
both your big
steals.
men averaging over double-digit rebounds, bro, you're gooch.
Nick Anderson averaged 15. I mean, their whole starting lineup basically. Their whole starting lineup averaged double figures.
Nick Anderson.
We gotta do it. We gotta do a deep dive into that team one day.
The Magic.
95 Magic. That was
there's a documentary on that on ESPN.
They could have really started their own little thing and had it going, and then Shaq up and left them.
Well, I think it was issues he had with Penny, but that's a whole conversation for another day.
Yeah.
So
Penny got it bad though, bro. I can't even front.
And then
gotta live with that.
They got the Space Jam runs. I wish there was more footage of the Space Jam runs.
I wish I could have played in those Space Jam runs
because it looked like all the top
and
all the young top young talent.
You gotta know. It's so much talent in the one room, and it's not even an all-star game. Like you're gonna be playing real basketball, not the fans watching. Let me give this guy a dunk because he's just going up there. Nah, we playing ball now.
Yeah.
The boys is out here. We playing ball.
Yeah, that's wacky. You're bugging.
Nah,
like,
bro.
What?
6'7" grown men tossing.
Like there's no reason where I'm going to scrimmage and Patrick Ewing is in the paint. Like that's OD.
Nah, but that would have made your game better though, regardless.
Of course, it would have made my game better. But I'm just saying,
at what cost?
As a 5'9" African American male, it's not what I'm looking forward to.
Height. I got a little bit of height. I would have just had to put on some muscle because them elbows, them boys is thrown. Will wind you.
And they was playing like shirts and skins and all that.
Right. All these sweaty men. Now, to be honest, though, they had Jawan Howard out there, so I definitely could have been playing.
Jawan Howard was like low-key nice because he was coming off those Michigan games.
He was coming off those
runs. Exactly.
He looks like a dark-skinned he looks like a dark-skinned Mr. Bean with a mustache, bro. I'm not hearing it.
Don't even do that.
Not jacking it, bro.
Fab Five got did dirty too. They ain't seen no money from them runs, bro. No money from them runs, bro.
I mean, neither did Tim Tebow. It happens.
I mean,
you just gotta eat that, bro.
You just gotta go to the G League now, bro. That's what it is.
That's what's happening though.
They giving out the bag.
Yeah, they are giving out little bags. Like that's enough money to at least
you gonna give me
cop
half
a little
a
something
million.
for your moms. Feel me? Get your moms out the hood.
$500,000, 125 on the education.
I think what you call it depends on the player though. I don't think every person got.
Yeah, you gotta be elite. You gotta be elite.
Because Jalen Green got the biggest package, I think. Pause, but
and it's crazy because he's not even ranked number 1.
He isn't.
Who's ranked number 1?
I think number 1 is
I saw the list the other day, but I forgot.
I think it's Cade Cunningham.
They did like a whole they ranked every high school player, and I think Jalen Green was number 2. I think
Cade Cunningham is number 1. I think.
Yeah.
Why? Wait, can LaMelo go to the G League?
LaMelo's going to the draft this year.
No, but like, is he eligible for the G League?
I mean, yeah, but he's like too nice for the G League at this point because
I feel like once you're over 18, you're eligible.
He's top 5 rated for this year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into some draft stuff after this Last Dance thing, though. But
yeah, I just wish the teams were different for the lottery, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's been the same couple teams for the last
If
couple years.
the Cavs play smart, they could have a really good team by next year this time.
I just don't want them
Gotta stop
drafting another
drafting.
guard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not gonna happen.
Nah, they
Oh, they
definitely
can't
won't get
pick
in.
big man either.
They're gonna work on Sexton and what's his kid name?
Kevin Porter.
Darius.
Garland.
Or
They
Darius.
have
yeah,
Garland. They have
Darius
Kevin
Garland,
Porter. Like, do you really need another
They
guard?
not getting another guard. They're
They
trying to
can't.
go after
Imagine they
big
draft
because
Anthony
I don't
Edwards.
even
Like,
I don't
bro,
even
that's
think
so
they want Drummond
redundant.
right now.
That's so redundant.
And you know what's crazy? Drummond wasn't even a bad pickup. I don't know why they.
It wasn't, but he don't want to play there.
He wasn't, but like at the same time, it's like that's a pickup you pick up when you like contending or like you want to.
Yeah, you have to. Like he snags, bro.
That's
I don't
fact.
care. He snags. Like
But he stinks on.
he might not
defense.
be an offensive threat, but he snags.
He could put back. He could make some putbacks and throw down some lobs. Feel me? He's not trash.
I put him and Hassan in the same class
That's not good.
Hassan Whiteside's a little bit better than him.
when healthy. When healthy.
He's a better
And
defender.
not to mention Hassan had Damian this year.
True.
He wasn't doing all that rah-rah in Miami.
He wasn't playing bad in Miami.
He was playing bad.
He wasn't.
They
But
benched him
then
towards the
again,
end
I think because he was
he didn't-
beefing with management.
because he started playing like I got my bag. I don't want to play anymore.
A little bit.
Like
And
No,
he
but-
living in Miami right by the beach. He
Exactly.
ain't gonna do nothing.
all right,
But
but
Rick Ross over there.
But anyways, going back to the Space Jam runs, it's funny how Jordan used this as an opportunity to scout the talent as he was like getting himself back into shape.
You
Like,
got
he was like, oh, Reggie Miller does this, Chris Mellon does this. Like, oh, I'm gonna know how to be able to stop this, and like,
I don't really like Reggie Miller as a basketball player.
why not?
You talk too much and you don't got no rings to show for it. Sit down.
I mean, he ran into MJ and Kobe, so
He ran into a lot of
See,
people and ain't do
I
nothing.
hate when people say that. Like, you know,
it's
they'll go,
true,
"Oh,
though.
you ran into Larry. You ran into the bad boys.
I
We ain't
mean,
saying nothing.
And you
LeBron
see what
ran
the
into
bad boys
Spurs.
did to that
He
man.
ran into the Warriors. Feel me? We don't feel me. At the end of the day, if you're gonna be that guy in NBA history, you have
Reggie
to.
Miller was not like
overcome.
elite of the elite though, so like
That's
you can't
true, but I
expect
feel
that
like
from him.
at the end of the day, to be one of those all-time greats, you have to overcome whoever is in front of you, and
Yeah, you got to.
it just is what it is.
I mean,
feel
Reggie
me?
was probably just
We
not
said
that
the
guy.
same thing. We said the same thing with Barkley. We said the same thing with AI. Even though I hate it, AI is my favorite player ever. We say the same thing with that whole '90s era. If you don't have a chip, people automatically list you as a second-tier player.
Yeah,
yeah,
unfortunately,
We have to
my boy Ewing.
he
Get
baited.
outta
He
here.
baited.
get out of here.
He baited.
And Ewing was such a good player too.
He's a bum.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
feel like him and Mike formed
Bro.
a relationship, like during that Dream Team thing. And then after
Yeah, don't
that,
kill me for that,
he probably thought, "Yo, Mike is my guy. That's my man." Nah,
bro. That's his
coming
man
to
since
kill-
college, bro. Like
coming to kill you. He's coming to kill you.
Ewing was a little too friendly. I'll give him
Then he
that.
gonna call you a hoe after it.
When he called somebody
Literally.
a hoe in that documentary,
Bro, he was really
I was
talking.
crying.
He was calling Scott
that
Barella.
rah-rah.
He was calling
He
Scott
was like, "Yo, make
Barella.
that free throw a hole." I was weak.
He's really talking that rah-rah. Jordan gave it up.
I definitely like how Phil Jackson would coach Michael Jordan. Like, I remember at a point Michael Jackson was talking about one of the practices where
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jordan, when him and Steve Kerr was getting into it, and he was like how Phil Jackson was calling petty fouls against him just to get under his skin. And
Yeah,
I
that's
know
what
as a
happened with the Steve
basketball
Kerr
player,
fight.
I know as a basketball player, like my coach would do stuff like that just to kind of slant the odds for a given team to make another team feel like, you know, they're being slighted against. And even though that they're being slighted, you have to overcome, even if the ref is calling every foul against you, every
True
foul against
word.
him, and they're giving you no calls at all. Like, I remember my coach at a point, he would just be like, you know what? One team, I'm not calling fouls for you, and I'm calling everything on you. So work through it. So I definitely like Phil Jackson's coaching methods. It was definitely nice to get an inside look in how he was
For
running
real.
some of his practices and definitely some of the tactics he used to motivate guys. But when Steve Kerr was like, he hit him, and then Jordan rocked him. I mean, that was mad funny because Steve Kerr was like, yo, he was coming at me, so I just hit him in his chest, and then Jordan was like, man, I'll rock this
You
ass
gotta
in the
know
mouth.
your personnel, though. Like, if
Facts.
Jordan's ringing off like that every day, he probably not doing that for no reason. He talking like he got hands, bro.
I mean, as a grown man, because my whole thing is like, this is the NBA. This isn't college where you're adult-ish, or this isn't high school where you're a teenager. This is a grown man. I don't care what nobody says.
True.
You're not talking to me like that.
True
Like that
respect
whole
level.
Horace Grant no eating thing. If I was Horace Grant, I was packing him up on that airplane. They was gonna have to pull me up off him because there's no way this
No
dude
rice, no ribs, no
is
champagne.
telling me
or-
I'm not eating meat. Yeah, boom, I'm shooting you. You crazy? It's not going down
Now,
like
the
that.
Horace Grant thing is hilarious.
That's OD. Like, that's OD.
That's
Can you
hilarious.
imagine? You're 27 and a 27-year-old man is like, nah, you not eating.
Yeah,
But
you gotta pull the gamble with Venus.
But this just goes to show you how good of a player he is, because
Yeah.
in the NBA, the way people treat you is a reflection of how good you are. You feel me?
That's a fact.
People, there's certain things people won't say or do to LeBron that they would probably say to a rookie coming in,
Another nigga.
just any average Joe. But like, you got to look at them like dogs. Phil Jackson, he owns a bunch of dogs. Michael's the pit bull, and you gotta hold him by the collar a little bit. But when it's game night, you gotta let him go. You gotta let him go. You feel me?
That's a good analogy.
You gotta know. You gotta know, like that. When they were showing, my favorite part of the series is what Josh said, like getting an inside look to how Phil was coaching the team, because we see what happens like
On the court.
and you see during a timeout, like you see people talking, but you never hear what they're talking about. Even when he was sitting down with Scotty and Rodman, he was like, yo, once I set this pick, you got to go behind me. You got to feel him out. I'm like, all right, I know what they talking about. This is the conversation they was having. All right, so it ain't no fake. It ain't no fake on.
Mm-hmm.
He know how to win. I give him that.
Yeah.
He know how to win.
That Dennis Rodman 2-day vacation was a genius idea.
Yeah.
Nobody
knows his guys.
I wouldn't have gave him that. I wouldn't have
gave him that either.
I wouldn't have gave him that. He know how to win. And I feel like they built like such a rapport between each other. Like they became family. Like, all right, we only as strong as our weakest link. Wherever you fall off, I got you. And that's why to me, that 95, 96 team, when they first got together, I was watching them plays where I was like, yo, like, they know where each other gonna be before they even get there.
Right.
The fluidity they was playing with, it reminded me of Golden State a little bit.
I was just about to bring up 2017 Golden State. Like,
it just had a
different
look to it. Like Jordan was jumping. It looked like he was jumping higher. I'm like, yo, how does he stay in the air that long? Like, how was he getting that shot off? Like, you know how much strength you have to have in your core alone to stay in the air that long?
That long. And then you still got to get the shot over the rim.
He different, bro. He different, bro.
But speaking of the 72-win season, the Steve Kerr fight actually occurred like in that preseason that 72-win season. And basically Jordan was like, he didn't like how the guys that were coming in, like Steven, like Luke Longley and all the new guys that they just added, he didn't like how they were acting like they had won those championships when they weren't there. So he felt like he had to like toughen them for like teams like New York.
Rite of passage.
Yeah, and he had to toughen them for like teams like New York
That's
and
really
whoever else they were going to face in the playoffs. But that toughness, and more importantly, Orlando, because he wanted his revenge on Orlando. So they go through that 72-win season. They dominate the league. Teams are talking about them as like media is talking about them as like the best team ever. They run through the playoffs. They sweep Miami first round. They beat the Knicks in 5, and then they sweep Orlando as Jordan gets his revenge. And here comes the 96 finals, as we saw.
Who was that against? That was Charles
say
Barkley?
Sonics.
They could have swept them boys. They could have swept them.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because George Karl, he saw Jordan in a restaurant before the series, and Jordan was like, George Karl didn't say hi to me. I said hi to him. I was trying to like say hi to him, and he didn't say hi to me. And he was like, "Oh, okay, all right." And he basically used that as his motivation for the rest of the series. And they came out and they won the first 3 games, and everybody was like, "Will the Bulls sweep? Will the Bulls sweep?" And Gary Payton was like, "I'm Defensive Player of the Year. Why don't you just put me on Jordan?" because I'll give him problems or whatever. So Gary Payton guarded him for games 4 and 5, and they ended up winning those games.
They ran a little box and won. They caught him off guard.
I mean,
basically. But I saw the stats of him for the first 3 games of that series. I think it was he was averaging like 31 for like those first 3 games. But then for like the last 3, when Gary started guarding him, his numbers dipped to like 24 points per game. And
that's a bad game. And that's a bad game.
Yeah.
Well, compared to what he was doing before Gary started guarding him, yeah. So
it's not even that. I mean, well, they won, so you also got to consider the outcome. Because, you don't play the game for stats. You play the game for the dub. So
facts.
Even if you hold Jordan to 24, you're lost. So that didn't do you no good.
Facts, but they did win games 4 and 5. And we also that clip of MJ laughing at Gary, basically explaining how he was like, you gotta keep bagging him, you gotta keep hitting him, you gotta keep bagging him, you gotta keep
maybe Jordan lost those 2 games on purpose so he could win on Father's Day.
Maybe.
Wouldn't be surprised. That sounds very Jordan egotistical. He sounds like the type.
Like, because when he was even going back to that video,
it would give him that extra that motivation.
Yeah, he was like, he wasn't worried. He got hit. He had other things on his mind. And then as soon as he said that, they was like, yeah, Father's Day. I was like, all right.
Wait, was that that was the series he only bought 1 suit and he was like, yo, you only need 1 suit?
No, that was the Phoenix series.
A couple years prior.
Yeah. That was the Phoenix series in '93.
That was Phoenix.
He was like, I'm bringing 1 suit. We're not staying
even
here for
that in
game.
itself is so gangster to me.
Yeah.
It's like teams try to do that now though. Like recently I think it was
you can't do that now. You got to be a certain.
It was the
Cavs.
No, it was the Celtics or the Wizards that said we're wearing black because it's a funeral, and they ended up losing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. I forgot it was the Celtics or the Wizards. I don't remember.
Let's not forget when LeBron bought the whole Cavs team Tom Brown suits,
and they lost every single game. They wore those 2.
Dude, what a teammate! What a teammate! What a teammate! Yo,
because one of them suits cost bread, and LeBron had the cut-off shorts, so I know he got them altered. That's extra breach.
Frankie, imagine you 14th man on the roster. You 14th man, and you wake up for game day, and this man got a suit for you can't afford.
Mind you, you're not playing. You know you're not playing.
It don't matter. That's a teammate. I
was wearing that suit everywhere. Funerals, graduations, birthdays. I was never taking that off, bro. Yeah, bro bought me this. Bro bought me this. Off the strength.
But Frankie made a point about how Jordan was a dog, and I feel like that element of dogness is something that we're losing in the NBA. And I feel like obviously it wasn't just Jordan, it was Magic, it was Larry, it was Shaq, it was Kobe, and I feel like the reason
it
was AI doesn't have
every couple of years you get that guy.
I feel you do. You kind of do, but I feel
like now it's Jimmy Butler.
Guys are becoming a lot.
I got a hot take, but y'all may not like it.
Hell no.
I'm gonna go with Russell Westbrook.
No, Russell Westbrook actually has it. He doesn't have the skill set.
That's why he's one of my favorite players.
He just doesn't have the skill set to be that guy.
I think he actually has the skill set. It's just I ain't figure Westbrook out yet. That's the thing.
Just doesn't have a jump shot, bro. If he makes more jump shots, bro, he would be unguardable.
If jump shot and IQ, it's like a combination of both.
He really needs to work on his attitude.
If you put Russell Westbrook on the right team, he will win you countless championships because this is one of his best seasons ever. You just got to pair him with I like the pairing with him and Harden.
I feel like it's the offense they run with the spacing.
You just need a big to drop in the middle of that floor.
But they don't like to run bigs.
Outlet and guard multiple positions. That's it. I heard they're trying to get Gobert and they trying to get Drummond.
Oh, no.
But they could have kept Clint Capella.
Nah,
but
Clint
Capella was way cheaper than those guys.
And teams was getting on to that, Harden's going to drive and lob it up every time. But they couldn't stop that.
But honestly, with the no center lineup, I feel like it's better for Westbrook because he's kind of like the point center in a way where he's the one that does all the paint points. So I feel like they don't need a center.
Capella's not in there clogging up the paint.
Yeah.
They can run a 5-0.
mean, but if you can get somebody who can hit a midi consistently like LaMarcus Aldridge or something like that, feel me? That spreads the floor to a level where it's like, yo, his man can't even rotate because his mid range is so cash.
But then it come down to that bag, though. You already giving up mad breach with Harden.
And their
You giving
owner
up
is very
breach
cheap.
with Westbrook.
Their owner is very cheap. So
Yeah, I mean, you win
I
some, you
heard
lose
this
some.
D'Antoni last leg too. If it's chip or nothing,
Definitely.
I don't know.
Selling out.
I feel like the
they
thing with
said if he
NBA coaches
don't
is
win, it's quiet.
see, but you can't do that because they've been losing to the person winning the chip, and I don't feel like that's entirely reflective on Mike D'Antoni. Because if you think about it like this,
Mike D'Antoni
everyone's
lost
losing to the
everywhere, though.
Warriors.
Yeah, Phoenix, all that.
Okay,
I kind of think it reflects on D'Antoni.
Phoenix was
though.
never an organization that was very winning.
They were good in that early 2000s when he was the coach. I'll give him that. And Steve Nash was MVP.
Which
Even though he
low
shouldn't
he
have
didn't
got
deserve.
that MVP.
But we're not even gonna go down that road.
We're
I
not
don't even
gonna
want
talk
to
about
debate that because I already spoke about Steve Nash's MVPs on one of the pods.
Bro,
before.
every time I look at the numbers, I want to throw up.
Bro, it's not even the numbers, bro. It's the. Did you know the team situation at the time? 6'8" Boris Diaw was running center when no Amari Stoudemire, no Kurt Thomas. They had a whole bunch of injuries to their team. They still came out with, I think, about like 60 wins in the tough Western Conference.
Kwame Brown.
And he was like, what, the 7th seed?
Kwame?
7th seed.
But Russell Westbrook had a triple. He averaged a triple-double. He was in 7th seed.
Two totally different eras. I don't want to argue it. I don't even want to argue it right now. But anyways, to end this episode off, one of the funniest lines so far, Reggie Miller was like, this is Jordan's last run. So he was like, I felt my team was the better team at the time. And he was like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to retire MJ.
Yo.
And that's the way the episode ended. I was weak.
Yo, I know as a basketball player, like, you got to stick up if you stay.
I was like to say.
I know they be in their crib running it back in their mind like, ain't no way in hell I was beating Jordan. Come on. Because every interview you ask, they speak about Jordan like he is Jesus Christ.
Nah, when Larry Bird called him Jesus Christ in disguise, I was like, that's OD.
Larry Bird we're talking about. He had an outer body experience.
Larry was shook, bro. Larry was shook. He'd never seen someone move like that on the basketball court.
49 and 63 the next game.
No, I was about to say, he gave 63, bro. That's old.
63 the game after you give him 49. In both L's. Both L's, by the way. Both L's.
He was that shook.
Mind you, look what Jordan is doing. He's going tween, pull up, tween, pull up, tween, pull up.
I know what play he talking about.
Right on the baseline, tween, pull up, tween, pull up. Larry said, "Oh God."
He ain't never seen anyone move like that in his era.
He had an outer body experience. Larry dubbed him as the GOAT from then. Even on the Dream Team after that, Larry was on the gym floor laying down. He was like, "Yo, Magic, why are you even going back and forth with this, bro? Why are you even doing this here, so bro? Just
to be truthfully honest, bro. That was Larry Bird because he actually he fucked up one of the discs in his back building a house for his mother.
Yeah.
An NBA MVP building a house for his mother.
Country boy.
Yo, that's that French Lick, Indiana, yo. I can't.
Country boy. I heard he really used to ball up in Indiana too. Like he was giving them boys bucks.
Yo,
he was giving them boys bucks.
No backboard. The
bottom. That's what he's in. The bottom. Bro, imagine you shooting like that. You don't even hear the rim the same no more, bro.
Yeah.
You get into a real game, it's like, what is a backboard?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so we got one more week of The Last Dance, and then
it's a sad week.
Facts. And then probably we'll get into some draft stuff depending on the news. Maybe take a break or two from podcast for a week or so, and then get into some draft stuff depending on how the NBA news cycle goes, if we're gonna have a combine, when, etc. But I do want to do some I guess deep dives on certain players and like what teams should be targeting those players et cetera, et cetera. Because I haven't actually paid attention to this college season that much. I was actually waiting for March Madness to like start scouting these guys, but March Madness never pulled up. So now I gotta go do some research on these guys now. So, anyone got any final thoughts before we end this?
Feel like
yeah,
I could go ahead.
You got to get everybody from the Knicks out of there. Front office,
definitely.
coach.
Can we not talk about? Can we not talk about the Knicks? I've been defending them on Twitter all day.
Do y'all think? I know y'all saw Jalen Rose and a couple of those other people's comments on Jordan playing in today's NBA. Y'all think he's gonna average 45?
Listen,
he's gonna average 65.
No, I think he's gonna average 100. He's gonna average 100. Listen. I feel like because
hand check?
we haven't seen Michael Jordan play, right? But we know it's two different eras. I just feel like we're used to a certain level of basketball. If you drop him on any team, any situation right now, he's gonna average. If Harden's averaging 38, bro, right now, we talking about 60 from Jordan. If we being
we gotta talk about if Jordan learns the 3-point shot that quick enough, because Harden has the 3-point shot in his arsenal.
I don't even think he needs a 3-point shot, to be honest.
His mid range is so capped.
I don't even think he needs one. He's gonna need one when they run him off the mid range though, because they're either gonna force him to drive or take that three.
Yeah, but it's a team game. How you gonna run him out the mid range? By running him into the paint? And like I said, if you drop him in today's era,
they're gonna throw bodies at him.
Yeah, but now if you're throwing bodies at him. Oh yeah, somebody's getting windmilled on.
Yeah,
I feel like he's averaging a calm 40. I feel like he's averaging that.
You know what? I'll give him 45. I'll give him 45. Something more realistic.
Yeah. Around the 40s is pretty realistic, and we could do the same for like LeBron.
Because you got to know he was throwing up almost 30 shots a game.
Yeah, he was throwing up 30.
He was getting them up, and he's shooting like Harden, but he's making majority of his shots. We could put it like that.
Because he takes more twos.
Did I tell y'all my hot take on Harden?
No, you didn't tell us what the hot take was.
So basically, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna just start off. He had
repeat that.
Good basketball resume in terms of winning. If he had like a winning resume, I would put him in the same sentence or breath as Michael Jordan, because I haven't seen anybody like Harden.
Wow.
That's a hot take.
I'm not gonna lie. That was very hot, but I understand what you're talking about, because there's some times where I watch James Harden and I go, "This is fake." Like
you
somebody
don't
made
think
this
that three
clip
is
in
going
a lab
in and it goes in.
Put it out on Instagram, and now I'm watching it, because there's no way somebody did this on a basketball court. So I get you, but
even that streak of games where
hot.
Over 30 plus, bro, like that's not, even though he wasn't winning, that ain't easy to do, bro. And it's
not a 60-point triple-double was what got me.
It was virtually just him on that team for like the last 5 years until Westbrook got there. I mean, you had a couple bigs, but the moment he got there, it was
invisible.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, see, I forgot about CP3, but
when they needed him most, he vanished.
Yeah, when they needed him most, they would have won too.
Yo, Rico, you gonna let them talk about your boy like that?
Look,
he is.
Right now, CP fans can't say nothing because Steph in his head. He got real estate.
Bro. All I gotta say is Steph only got one ring. That's all I gotta say.
Wow.
Listen, you can say that.
Steph got zero low key. I'm gonna keep it a
wow.
Yo, Sam.
Like, come
they
on.
can say that. They can say that. When it's all said and done, we get that 30 for 30, tears gonna drop. You gonna be remembering where you was at when he won that first one, my boy. Tears are gonna flow. You gonna be looking back. We gonna have bare little mans in the NBA. Yo, Steph was really out here pulling up from half before anybody else, bro. Like,
no, that's facts. That's facts.
No, bro. If I had to choose one play to sum up his entirety of his career, I'm
the OKC shot.
OKC buzzer beater.
OKC game winner.
That sums up everything, bro. That sums up.
Yo, that was on national television on
a Saturday.
Yo, bro.
On a Saturday. Everybody was watching that.
I'm looking at Roberson. I'm like, get a hand up, bro. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm guarding the 3-point line. What
you can't get mad at Roberson.
I ain't getting mad at
Baghdad.
You can't do nothing about that. You can't.
It was
you could,
no reason he hit that.
It's
at
that and the Damian Lillard play. Those are plays you have to
God.
live with because there's nothing
God.
else you can do.
Now,
Paul
the
George
Dame
has
one,
nightmares
the
at
Dame
night.
one is disrespectful because Son waved after it, yo. Like,
Damian Lillard is in Paul George visions every night, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, the
Yeah,
Dame one was
literally.
worse because I mean, like when Steph hit that shot over Roberson, it was like,
all right,
alright,
Steph be
cannot-
hitting those.
yeah, like he pulled up, like Dame.
Yeah,
Dame
he
don't hit
took, bro.
those.
Nah,
Dame did like
hits
a
those.
fadeaway.
Nah,
Dame
don't
did
get
a
me wrong.
fadeaway.
Dame hit those, but pay respect where respect is due. The only reason he started shooting that because there was another light-skinned dude in the Western Conference heating it up. And he was like, yo, I see what he
Y'all
doing
must have
over there. I
forgot
gotta
what
step
he
my
did.
game up.
Y'all must have forgot what he did to the Rockets when LaMarcus Aldridge was dropping 50 on Dwight. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
know
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
remember when
We
he
ain't forget that.
caught
I
that
remember
right
that.
in boy.
We ain't
Caught
forget
that
that.
boy mitt and said, and it was good. That's OG.
And that,
like,
and
that's
that was the
OG.
Rockets' fault, too. They were sleeping on that play. Like, nobody was to be found on that play.
I think it was
Damian
Chandler
Lillard.
Parsons that was supposed to be on him.
It was Chandler Parsons. Dame
Yeah,
said, I seen a clip. Dame said as soon as the ref handed his man the ball, he broke for the ball and was like, yo. Because he knew he only had one chance to get a shot up. You're not going to get a better shot than that either.
Nah,
He
that's
got
not-
that.
That shit cash.
He got that.
All right,
He
so last thing, I mean, I don't think I got to ask y'all. I think I got to ask Frankie, what other basketball related documentaries would you like to see after seeing this Last Dance one? Because we already know we're getting a Kobe one, we know we're getting a Magic Johnson one, and we know we're getting a Dream Team documentary one. So
They're giving us another Dream Team one?
no, not the Dream Team. I mean the 2008 Redeem Team. My fault.
Oh, I kind of want to watch that one.
The
I
08
do wanna
one
watch
with
that
Wade and Bron and
But
Kobe
if I had
and
to say, I want to see something with Kevin Durant in it. I want to get inside that man's head. I want to know what's going on.
you gonna get lost.
Like,
You gonna get lost.
I just want to see what goes on behind the scenes. Like,
Nah,
I know his
it's
work
just
ethic is crazy.
I think he's just going through the same thing that like MJ was going through back then.
Yeah, he's bored at this point. He's bored. He's
Jaleel,
unmotivated.
not
Unmotivated.
he's tired of the media. He's tired of the media. Like he's mentally exhausted from the media. I feel like that's what it is.
Well,
So
then
that's
again, I can't even say he's unmotivated.
Him and Kyrie.
But I feel like
I feel like
there's
they're
a
the same
point.
way at this point.
But when Kevin Durant's time is up in the NBA, I feel like he's gonna end his career when he doesn't have to. Like he's probably gonna have like 3-4 years in a tank, and he's just gonna decide to walk away. Him and Kyrie.
Yeah, he said he wants to retire by like 35, I think, KD. And that's coming up soon, I think, because he's like
But, like,
31.
And it's almost selfish as a fan to be like, "Yo, I
Why
want
would
to
you
see
do
these
that?
players
Like,
play." But like,
yeah, but
it's like
I mean, you want
like
as a fan and as a
of
lover of the
basketball,
game,
yeah.
we want to see every player achieve the
I wanna
most
see
that
that.
they
they
can.
can, before their body like fully
Before,
deteriorates.
yeah.
But like MJ said he doesn't want people to be able to carry him off the court. He wants to be able to walk off the court on his own power.
Yeah, that's
so
a big thing too.
you don't want to be like on your like last limbs, ligaments
Yeah.
tearing.
But with
Like
MJ,
like
you
on
can't
D
help.
Wade rubbing knee and knee.
You can't help but think what could have been with MJ if you rewrote that story. Like,
I don't know. You can't even
Like
say
this-
that to a certain degree because like what it actually was stupid. What it actually was
yeah,
stupid.
like imagine being him though, living in the moment, and you don't like. I want to know what it feels like to feel all that while it's going on. Like he probably didn't even know, bro, or he probably did, but like
He couldn't have
looking back,
known,
his
bro. He
team,
couldn't have known.
his
He
now
couldn't
he
have known.
had to.
Bro, it's
The
no
dream team when he should have known. When you seen that big
Yeah.
Jordan poster,
Yeah,
that's when
that
he
had to
should have
be.
known. He should have known, like, yo.
But at that point, he
like-
felt like he had too much of a responsibility to be a
Yeah,
role
he was
model,
ready
and
to
he
walk
didn't
away
want to
from
be
the
a role
game.
model. He didn't want to be a role model.
I mean, but
That,
that
like-
just come with the fame, though.
It
You
does,
just
and
that
that's
good.
why he
You
wanted to
just
get
that
away
good.
from it for that time
Like
period,
I'm
especially with
watching him
everything
walking through the
piling
tunnel.
on with the death of his father and all that. It was just too
Mhm.
much all at once. So
I mean, you gotta
Like
remember
this-
that Jordan's not the type of nigga who wants to be an activist. Feel me? He's the type of nigga who is like, yo, I get that as an African American, we owe a debt to our community to use our platform for something, and that's what a lot of people believe for African Americans. But Jordan's
Yeah.
like, that's just not me, and that's not what I want to do. And I really respect him for that, because as somebody who's non-political, that type of stuff it's not that it doesn't bother you, it's just that, feel me, that's not where your mind goes. Feel me?
that's
I'm
not your
thinking about
place,
all the other stuff. Feel me?
or it's not your
It's-
place.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there
It's
Someone
just
is.
not
else's.
I
Someone
mean,
like other
else's.
people do that. Feel me? And it's not that you. It's not that it's necessarily okay. Like you should keep up with politics to a certain degree, because like you got to make sure you know who you're putting in office. But like,
Yeah.
feel me? That's not something that some people like to do. So I understood when Jordan's like, "Yo, like, feel me? I don't want to endorse this
I'm
guy
not gonna
running for
lie.
whatever it is. It's just not. It's just not me.
I
Feel me?
mean,
It's not that I don't stand for
to
what he stands for. It's just that's not where my mind
to Michael's
is
point,
at.
he did endorse the guy financially, where he did send
Mhm.
money to support the guy. He just never came out and vocally said anything. And
Yeah,
people feel
like
like if he vocally said something,
That's the
the voice
problem,
of
though.
MJ, the voice of MJ would have turned those votes
Yeah, that's the
mhm.
problem,
in the
though.
favor of that guy. What
I,
happened, Rigo?
I said that's the problem, though. I mean, granted,
Mm-hmm.
you can make the argument and say like, okay, yeah, as like you're Michael Jordan, you don't have to say that. But at the end of the day, I feel like you can't have statements of you saying things like, "Oh, Republicans buy sneakers too." That's in a way that makes you look like you're abandoning your people, and at the same time, no
Mm-hmm.
one says.
Mhm.
But granted, it was like you talking to your boys, making a joke. When he came back on a documentary, he had the audacity to come back and be like, "Oh, I don't regret saying it, nothing like that." And it's like, to an extent, you got to be like, okay, I mean it in this way, or like, offer some type of retribution. Because I mean,
Mhm.
granted, at the time, what like black people were fighting for is like, you don't got to
Yeah.
be out there and like being an activist. At the end of the day, if just you saying, vote for this person can shift that much people to go be like, all right, yeah, let me vote for him. You should do it. And I feel like that's just a problem that just plagues like, African
Mhm.
American people who get into like a position of power. Is like, you don't got no one's asking you to be an activist. They're just asking you to show up and like just support your people. If you gotta just say
Mhm.
something, say something. It's like it's not gonna kill you. But I
I
mean,
get what you're saying.
but I
But
mean,
I
like, think about how that comes off too. Because if it's like, boom, let's say he's like support XYZ. Feel me? Now it looks like that's his
yeah,
political stance, and now things are gonna start to be construed in a whole bunch of different ways. Because remember, this isn't a regular person having an opinion about something. This is
Michael.
Michael Jordan having a political opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
now they're gonna start to associate Michael Jordan with that man. If that man farts, Michael Jordan eats butt. Stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like I feel like I understand where he's coming from in that regard. Never understand the totality. I assume I'll never have a platform like that. I don't plan on going to the NBA anymore and being all that. I'm not saying I can't, but like,
Mm-hmm.
feel me? 82 game season is too much work for me. I just can't do
yeah,
it.
I don't think my body can handle all that.
Bro, that seems like
It's the
opium.
mental exhaustion of just having to know,
Yeah.
like, yo, as soon as this game is done, I'm about to get in the shower, answer like 44 questions, and get on a plane to go play another game of basketball. And if I just got rocked tonight, I gotta go be happy about it. To this cameraman who's about to ask me why we got rocked by 40 when the answer was obvious. One, we suck, and two, my man's just let the new young star drop 50 on him.
Should say if I was in the A, I wouldn't have no filter.
Bro, no filter. It's either that or I would have to go up there like, yo, excuse me, I'm not taking questions. And if I
Nah, they
do
would
take
hate
questions,
me.
you're gonna be mad at me. Like, you're gonna be mad. Like, I'm
That's
gonna pull a
KD.
Larry Bird.
That's KD.
I'm gonna pull a Larry Bird. I'm gonna just look at the reporter in the eye and go,
That's KD and Kyrie.
look away, bro.
I don't know why. I ain't even mad at anything Kyrie and Katie do. I mean, I know they got some
mental.
female tendencies about them. I don't even know if that's I don't even know if that's the right word.
We don't
But
mean it
like,
like that, women.
Yo,
Watching.
any woman
love
that are
you,
watching,
women.
because
But Katie and Kyrie, like, as a fan of the game, like, these brothers be balling, bro.
Balling,
Yeah.
bro.
Like,
that's a fact.
bro, I don't know if anybody else has seen, but YouTube has been on this, like, YouTube has been trying to push, I don't know if it's on purpose, but YouTube has been trying to push Kyrie Irving in the face of millions of people. I've been watching Kyrie highlights this whole quarantine, and I'm like, there's no way that you're watching highlights of this man and you're not ready for what he's about to do to you when he's on the schedule, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, you really can't stay in front of this man. And I watch players talking about him. I watch players, like, trying to figure out how to defend him. And that's the case with all great players. Like,
Facts.
all great players are either mostly loved or mostly hated. There's no in between. You name me one great player where it's like, it's almost 50-50 with this man. It's like, nah, people either hate him or love him. You got MJ, you got Braun. You got KD. I wouldn't
People
really.
hate
The only person I'll probably say that for. Then again, nah. Everybody love Magic. Nobody hate Magic like that. He got
Ooh,
AIDS though.
You should see them people from Boston. Boy, do they hate some Magic
Oh yeah,
Johnson.
I could understand that though. That rivalry run deep.
And aren't like half of Boston racist anyway? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg included. I figured that out the other day. Like I heard stories about him like calling like little black girls vulgar names and beating them up. I'm like, I watch your movies. Yeah, I'm like, I watch your movies, bro. I mean, he came through and apologized for it like a couple of years ago, but
don't mean it didn't happen.
It was new information to me. It caught me by surprise. I was like, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter the other day too. I was like, nah.
Why am I now hearing about this?
I'm like, yo, I really danced with this dude. I looked at him so differently after that.
Bro, at this point, it's like white people just go through a racist phase and then try to apologize for it years later.
That's their puberty.
Rico is wildin'. Yo, Rico is wildin'. Yo, the CIA is gonna come and get you, bro. Rico, you're hot. Rico, you're hot.
Yeah, COINTELPRO gonna be knocking at the door.
Facts, they gonna come find me, but it's like, come on, bro. Like, you don't gotta hide who you really are, bro. We know who you are, bro.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna respect you, but I'll have more respect for you if you just be like, yeah, I'm racist, than trying to hide it. And then I come to your house and you call me an N-word behind closed doors. Like, come on, bro.
Nah, my whole thing is you can say the N-word if you want to. Now, what happens after that, you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Now,
People,
go ahead.
If people come knocking at your door with Tech 9s and automatics, then that's on you.
All right, I think this is where we wrap up today's podcast. Thank you for listening.
FBI, we was just joking around. It ain't that serious. We don't
make sure you guys subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment, give us some feedback, and check out the links in the description, and we'll catch y'all next time.